Hello there folks, it's TIJ Gaming and welcome back to the 5th instalment of our Rookie to Champion adventure and World Snooker Championship 2004. Now, last time out we played the last few frames against Mark Brent in the second qualifying round of the LG Cup and we beat him in the end. I think it was 5-1, he got one frame back in the end, but we did beat him 5-1 and quite a comprehensive win. Which leads me on to the topic of today. Why are we 3-0 up against Roy Zanussi already? Because don't worry, you haven't missed anything in terms of content, just me who's made a complete mistake. Now, I recorded this episode, it must have been on Sunday or something like that. I'm recording this quite a few days later now, but basically, long story short, I recorded a lot of videos on Saturday, and I recorded an extra episode of this on Sunday, and it must be the fact that along with the footage I recorded on Saturday, I had a bit of a clear out on the hard drive on Monday afternoon. And as a result, the footage from Sunday's episode, which I presumed I'd edited and got up as well as the Saturday episodes that I'd recorded at that time, but the footage had gone, the audio footage is also gone, there's no way of me recovering it. So, to cut a long story short, another rabble that you might not understand that I've talked there, basically, you're not going to be seeing the first 3 frames from this match. It's a bit of a shame, but hopefully today we can repay for that. If we do win this in straight frames, we will start the next match as well, because it's only fair to you guys. But just a bit of an overview of what's happened so far. No big breaks, to be honest. Nothing too spectacular. A few fouls from each player. But it is clear that, I remember saying this in episode 5 originally. This is, of course, going to be episode 5 now. But I remember saying that, you know, qualifying rounds are different to the proper thing. We were quite likely to struggle in this first round. But as a matter of fact, we've done very well. And haven't been opposed by Roy Zanussi. And we were on about how we pronounce the name. Is it Zanussi, Zanussi? And the fact that he's actually not, he probably has been a worse player than the 2 qualifiers. So that's quite nice for us. We've got a 3 frame advantage, but quite a poor break from us from the start. But equally, very poor shot from him. As John says, a very easy shot, which he has gone and missed as Roy. Now, we've got to be careful about this, because it's quite a nasty one, because the cue ball's so close to the red. But I think we should be alright if we hit it like that, and we'll get the first point of the day. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. It's nicely onto the black. And we should be on for a decent break if we can get the black in. And of course, as Dennis says, the black is the obvious shot. Now, we want to hit this one with some force. Hopefully get back into the pack of reds. Or else this break is going to be over very, very quickly. As you saw, our highest break was of, I think it was 24 in the first few frames. But nothing spectacular. And I have to say, that's not anything spectacular either. So we are just going to play a safety shot. That makes complete sense to me. Make sure we actually hit the red though. Now this is going to be a bit nasty because we want to make sure the cube ball doesn't go into the corner. But I think that should be about right. If we hit it sort of like that, it should roll up hopefully about on the top cushion. But I'm not quite sure how this shot's going to go. I mean, it's gone a lot longer than I expected it to, blimey. But are we still safe? I don't... Yeah, it'd be a tricky pot to pull off, and he's nearly... As John says, he's very lucky for the cue ball not to go down there. So we've been very much rewarded and been a bit lucky for our poor shot there, in that Roy's just been shocking, to be honest. He's showed what I said earlier in the fact that he's been quite a poor player. We've given him a few chances already, but he's not really doing anything that's too spectacular. So that's a bit of a shock. But that's another red potted, and we're back onto the blue possibly. Yeah, we're onto the blue, which is nice. And there's also a few reds that are available for the next shot. So we've just got to make sure we get this blue in first. And to be honest, if we can get a bit of a break going, this frame will be over a lot quicker than previous frames have been. Again, we've potted the blue there. Good stuff. The blue gets put back on its spot. It's a break of 14. Obviously, it's not a break because... we've been stopped in our tracks, but in theory it's a break because it hasn't been opposed by Zanussi, so that's how I see it, and hopefully it's a tricky shot, it's a long pot, but we haven't hit this one with so much power, and hopefully it should go into the pot, and it certainly does. Position wasn't really the aim though on this one, and I think we're alright on the pink actually. Yeah, we are. The middle pocket is a pocket that, if you are a long-term viewer of this series, I know it's only been 4 episodes, but you will know I'm not a fan of the middle pocket, but this shot should be okay as far as I'm concerned, and just a bit hard. Ultimately though, we're safe luckily on the top cushion, so we would have got 6 more points, but our break would have been over nonetheless, and we've given Roy quite a tricky shot here, and no doubt that he won't do it very well, but to be fair, he hasn't done badly out of that. But it just bounced off that pocket, unfortunately, with it being a little bit too hard. But I'm going to go for the pot here. Might be a stupid decision. I don't think it's going to pay off, but saying that, I don't want to risk a safety shot, which might also be poor, and let Roy into the game. I mean, that's about right. If we miss, it's going to be marginal. We're not going to be way off. We'll say it's going to be way off the pocket now, but even if we miss, which it looks like we probably will, again, it's not miles off the pocket, but it does leave a bit of a silly position because there's plenty of reds available now. But knowing the way that Roy's played in this game, I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't pot them. That's a brilliant shot, to be honest to him. But I'm a bit gutted about the fact that we don't see the first 3 frames of this match. But that's just the way it goes. It was a bit of a silly decision from... Well, not decision, but a bit of an oversight from me when I was deleting the stuff. And I suddenly thought, when I come to record this episode, I thought, I haven't edited that yet. Why don't I edit that? And then I had a bit of a sinking feeling when I thought, oh no, I haven't got the video anymore. So that was brilliant. I don't really know and see how there's a wide choice of reds. I mean, that one's a tricky one. That would go. But into this pocket over here, there's not really a choice. I mean, you can hit it faintly on the side and hope. But I think my best bet's this shot, you know. I really do. I think that red that's got a tight angle that we looked at earlier is a possible. But it's not impossible, but it's certainly not the easiest shot. But I think this one's going to, just about goes in, just about goes. Quite luckily we were there. But unfortunately, a lot of the colours are now down with the pack of reds, which means we've only really got the blue. Really, well, the blue's the only shot, I think, in this situation. Just going to make sure, I don't think it does go into that pocket, but just to make sure we are going to screw it back. Just to make sure, and actually it gives us decent position for the next shot. So it has a bit of a dual purpose, but if this isn't going, which to be fair, the pot hasn't really been looked at too much, and that was just a case of it was too hard. And that's something we're going to have to learn throughout, is that, look, sometimes it's about position, which it was there, but sometimes it's just about getting the balls in the pocket, and position sometimes just comes naturally, I feel. Like a lot of the shots we've played, we've got brilliant position, but it's not because we've tried to get position, it's just because we've been a bit lucky. Now, you don't get lucky all the time, but I think that does come naturally. But quite a poor shot, really, on the blue. But personally, I don't think that Roy's going to build up a big break, which he hasn't. But again, the problem is the pack of reds aren't split up. Now, I don't mind the look of this red, you know, because it's not going to be blocked unless it taps that pink, which is a bit of a risk. But I think it's a risk worth taking. It's just how it makes contact with that pink. Blimey, it was nowhere near in the end. Well, that's a bit of an oversight from me, because on the overhead view it looked okay. But way off, and neither player, I mean, we scrutinised Roy earlier, and what's he doing? He just gives us an easy pot there on the red. Both players haven't played well, I'll be completely honest. But I think Roy's played worse. I mean, giving us the availability for that sort of shot there, it's just foolish. Of course, we've got to pot it, which we have, but yeah, that was daft. Now, the green's probably the easiest shot. Maybe the yellow. I'm just thinking for position. I know we were on about position earlier, going that, well, it's not the most important. Putting the balls in sometimes is, and I don't think that middle pocket's going to be available. It's just going to ricochet off that pocket. So I think a pretty straight shot, a little bit of angle towards the cushion, but I'm just trying to work it out because I don't want too much, but I don't want too less. I want a little bit of angle, but not a massive amount. Now, it's all about fine margins, and the only worry is here is that this cue ball is heading in the exact same direction as the yellow. But I don't think the cue ball is going to travel as far. It's in the, well, the yellow's in the pocket. The cue ball very nearly was as well then. But because the cue's on the jaws, it gives us a hard chance. Now, we've got a look in at this red in the middle pocket now. I'm not very good at the middle pocket, but that, to me, looks pretty good. So I think we're going to go for it. Let's have a look. Again, it's just about luck, I think some of these shots are. And that's a half-decent shot, it's in. And now the blue should be nice and easy to get. That's another 5 points. As we said about, I don't know, there could be no problems in the next round. We're going to try and get it off the cushion into the pack of reds. Because I think to get an easy pot anyway, you know, a pot with lack of stress, we've got to split the pack of reds up somewhat. And there we go. There's a lucky red that's just fell right by the pocket there. So it's another point. It's another point that can contribute to the frame. And obviously can, in effect, give us an extra 7 or 8 points because of the colour we're going to go and pot on next.
Very good shot,
but good shot. I think the yellow looks the best pot there, even though the blue is straight on. I don't fancy the blue, just to make sure that I don't want Roy to come back to the table anytime soon, and 2 points is better than being off the table. There we go, we've took it, we've gone with power there. And we'll have to a little bit of a tricky situation now, but we might just go for the safety shot. It's not going to hurt us. But that's a possible pot, you know. It's going to be tricky, But I think we can... Oh! Bleeding phone call from Leeds. I'm not going to answer that. It's probably Marcelo Bielsa. Just turn my phone on to silence. I mean, it'd be a pity that John Virgo's commentary line isn't perfect here. Well, someone's phone's gone off. The referee's had a quiet word. I mean, I think there's only me that finds the commentary funny, but if you do, please let me know down in the comments. I mean, that was a stupid shot in the end, fundamentally. Where's the cue ball? No, we're okay. I mean, to be fair, we've played our way out of that one quite nicely. Unless there's an angle on that red that we tried to just have. There might be. I mean, what's he done there? God only knows. There's certainly an angle on that now.
The black here would be my choice.
I mean, but he's just a... I don't know what Roy's doing. I don't think he's competed in any of the frames. You can see that in... Oh, that's just stupid complacency, that is. I mean, Roy's highest break is 9 in these 3 frames. He might actually get a break that's bigger than that now. Now, he's gone for the snooker. Well, not the snooker, but just making sure we don't pot anything, which is a little bit stupid because... It's not the worst idea in the world, granted, but he could have gone for the pot on that red, and it wouldn't have been the worst choice in the world. Unfortunately, that's just way too hard, and it's come back down the table, in fact, to where it was. So that's quite nice. Unless there's an angle on this red, which looks like there might well be. He's just played the same shot again. I mean, honestly, how boring can you get? Now, we're just going to hit this up the table. Is it a risk? I don't know, because that... no. Because that's the problem though now. Because the red's in a different position, we're just going to have to go for it. You know, that red opens a pot right over the pocket. But depending on where's the cue ball...
Whoops, that's the one...
Dear.
Yes, Dennis, that's 4 points away, and the
I mean, granted, he's been poor in break building today, but, you know, his safety shot was good there. And there should be another point to his tally. And all of a sudden, he's in the frame.
Going all the way around the table is the best way of getting position here.
Yeah, a few shots ago, you wouldn't have said, because we got a 20-plus lead, and now that some of the reds have opened themselves up a bit because of our safety shots and his safety shots and the fact that we've had to play a red at some point, there's a little bit more availability now. I'm interested to see what he does here now. What does he go for here? The green, possibly? But whatever he goes for, it's going to be a tight shot. I mean, granted, purely because he's on a roll. That's the way this game works. If they're on a roll, he'll pot it, and as he has done there.
9.
But in fact, that's good position for the red that's right by the pink, or even the 2 reds that are by the pink. Or the red by the black, I suppose. It is nearest to the black, it's not wrong. But as you can see, his break building's been poor, because he just missed that one as well. So, interesting times for him. We are going to just whack it, because I don't fancy the angle on either the black or the pink. So it's a risk, but what have we done there? Just a stupid shot that was. Now we are gonna go really stupid now. My only worry is that we don't pot this, which I don't think we will. If we don't pot this, then I mean, is there angle into the middle pocket? No. I mean, that's just ruled out because of where the cue ball is and where the pink is in relation. But we're gonna have to go for it. But when we miss it, because I don't think we'll pot it, but if we miss it, there is no way. There's any there's an angle. Well, there is an angle. Beg your pardon. There's an angle. Beg your pardon. It's a bit rude. There is an angle. Pardon me. I don't know. I've just lost my words. There was an angle on the red to be potted there, but he didn't pot it. But we're just going to play a sort of a safety shot. I mean, there's not enough of a hit on that red, I don't think, at least, to go in. But I was going to say sometimes it surprised you nicely, but we just completely opened the table up for Roy now. Pocket, oh dear. Well, that just shows, doesn't it, that neither player are playing very well here, and it's especially Roy. I mean, what does this angle look like here? I think we force him to continue because there's no obvious pot, and if he does pot it, then fair play to him. But I can't see a safety shot or anything that's going to work in this case. Let's have a look. What does he go? He's going to go for the pot, I think. Now he's just going to tap it and get it back up the table. Which is interesting, because We can still get angle on the red in terms of hitting it, but we will struggle to pot it from this point, purely because the green's in the way, and maybe we might not have hit it hard enough here. Oh my God.
Foul. 4 away.
Well, it's been a game really of two amateurs today. It really has. I mean, we've conceded 2, Roy's conceded 1 foul, and finally, this red's going to be potted, I think. It's got to be, surely. No, he's missed it. Well, all of a sudden, the colours were all down the one end of the table, and all of a sudden now, the reds, the colours and the reds are all at the other end of the table, bar 1. Now, we've got to pot this. We have to. I think that's about the right angle. I think, anyway. Might be wrong. There we go, that's in. That's a nice shot.
1.
Now, we can get the black, which will put it back where it was.
Like he's trying to get the black on
And I think if we get the black, it is a tricky one because that red is nestled down on the cushion. But we've took the black.
1 final red to 8.
Ooh. Oh dear.
I think he'll go for a snooker.
Yeah, well, I don't really fancy. Well, what we can do is just play the cue ball up behind the red, just so he won't pot it. But if it is touching ball, that's a bit of a risk. I don't think it is, though. No, he's just going to play a safety here. Which, in turn, brings it back up the table and makes it an easy pot. You know, it's just one of them things. Now, can we get it back down the table to get the black? I do wonder. I don't think we're going to do it, though, because surely, from this shot, there's got to be decent position on one of the colours, at least.
1.
And the yellow looks like to be that one, so
To be the obvious shot here.
there you go. Or even the pink, actually. Does the pink go? No, I don't want to risk it. Even with the brown, I don't want to risk it. And it gives us good position on the yellow. Hopefully. Depends how the shot goes, but gives us position on the yellow coming into the colours. And that wasn't the best shot in the world, because the yellow is going to palm. There you go, right next up to that now. We could go for the side, the middle pocket, which I don't think is going to come off, but we can have a go at it. I mean, we're far enough ahead, and we've seen from Roy's poor breaks that, to be honest, he ain't going to get 27 out of 27. But that, was very nearly a lovely shot. But amazingly, in missing that, we've managed to snooker him. Which is going to have to be like a triple cushion, because all of a sudden, the blue was in the way. And to be fair, I thought it'd be a nice easy pot now because of that. But he's given us a little bit of a tricky angle. But with this... we don't win the frame. We still need another ball. We still need the green. But if we get this, we get a lot close to winning the frame. There we go. It's in. Perfect.
2.
And we've got decent position on the green.
I think with
Be nice to clear up, but I don't think we will. Just been the way of the frame that we haven't really cleared up this frame. But if we clear this ball, which we have, we go 4-0 up, and that is brilliant. Now we won't pot the brown, I don't think. We can go for a little bit of a double. But we can go for it. We can play now, because unless he snookers us, which is doubtful. I mean, he's done it before, but he's not going to win the frame. He might go for it, which I think he is. He's certainly not giving up. We're not having the classic frame conceding line come out just yet. And he's missed it anyway. He's very nearly potted the cue ball.
He should be taking on the more difficult shots. He's having no luck with them at all.
I mean, we may as well just whack it down the table now, to be honest. The frame's pretty much over, unless we concede a silly foul, which I don't even think even one foul would be enough to get him back in the frame. Where's the cue ball? Oh, that was lucky, that was. I mean, to be honest, maybe he should have took a little bit longer. Well, there you go. I mean, he'll pot this brown now. I mean, he should do. If he doesn't pot this brown, I can be quite confident we'll win the frame in straight frames. Wow. Well, he hasn't potted that, so we may as well just go for it now. We may as well go for the 71, which of course is what is left on the table as a total. That's decent position on the blue, actually. Fair play. Now we don't want to hit this one too hard because we can get good position on the pink. So it all works out well. It all works out well in the end. And to be honest, considering how bad we've been in this frame, I don't know how we've won it by a 30 or 40 point margin. To be quite honest, well, we potted that one. The black isn't going to go in, I doubt, but the frame is more than over now. Give this a whack. Again, if it goes in, it goes in, but I don't think it will. But if it goes in, it's nice. If it doesn't, as we say, it doesn't matter. No, it's nowhere near. Is it going to come for the double, though? Is it going to come for the double? I mean, to be fair, if that would have rolled a bit more, that would have gone in. So that's a bit unfortunate. But that does put us 4 frames to the good. And I believe that we're at an advantage now with this frame because we don't make the break. So unless Zanussi makes a really good break, which is a snooker or something along those lines, that's it. I mean, that's interesting that the blue's been opened up already. Of course, doesn't help us in getting a red. We'll just play a safety shot here, but interesting. Interesting start to the frame. And a decent break. Not the best break, but certainly not the worst. We've just tapped that, to be fair, a lot more. We've tapped that a lot more than I expected it to. And it opens up that red now. It's a tricky pot. But, yeah, he could get it here. But he's just whacked it and let all the reds just fly, basically. Now, what we are going to do, it's going to be a bit stupid, but I think this is good position on this red, so we'll just belt this into the pocket. Fingers crossed it works out. And it separates the other reds as well. There we go, it's in, and that's very nearly 2 reds out, and in fact, is that good? Is that going to be position on the black? I hope so. Has he snookered himself?
Yes,
oh dear.
Won't be happy with that.
Well, sometimes it doesn't quite work out, but actually we can just go for the green here. Not the green, sorry, the pink. And I think, hopefully, it's a risk. It makes sure we don't get a foul, but I think, hopefully, oh, for goodness sake. Have we just missed the pink? I mean, to be fair, even if we'd have hit it, like, we wouldn't have got out of it. But sometimes separating the reds works, sometimes it doesn't. It works in the opponent's favour. And in theory now, Zanussi should just take the blue. It's points. Yeah. He opened that up himself, fair play to him at the start of the frame, so as I say, fair play. But not the best position on a red now. I mean, there's potable reds on the table, but that yellow is going to be tricky to comprehend. That's the only real red that makes sense, but as usual, he's missed it and give us a nice angle on this red here that we are going for position on. Well, that we're positioning up now. I don't fancy the black here, to be honest. Oh, we don't want to play with any side. We're not that good yet. Come on, there we go. But we are just going to belt it because we want to get it back up the table. And sometimes belting it's the best way to go. It's a bit of a risk. But in fact, we've got good position on the black, funnily enough.
This should get the black respotted.
Now, we don't need to belt this one so much. But if we do get it, which I'm fairly sure we will. If we do get it, that's an extra 7 points to our total, and that's lovely. Good stuff.
8.
Could build a decent break here, although I'm a little bit unsure of where the next red comes from. Unless we go for this one, I suppose. Yeah, that's about as close as you can get, and I think that possibly if we get lucky with how that goes and how it positions itself, we could get the blue from that. A little bit of a tricky position on the blue, but it's possible.
Well,
there's plenty of options, agreed. We can even go for the straight blue up there, which no doubt is going to go in. I mean, even if we lose this frame, it doesn't really matter. We can take a little bit more risk. Of course, not a massive amount of risk, but enough risk because of the lead that we have in terms of frames. I mean, that red looks good to me, personally. And we're going to go for it. Then we can get back up the table. The risk was, unless it's how it makes contact with this other red. Oh, we've missed it. Oh, dear. Too much power, I think, on there. It was a good position on a yellow or even a blue. But he's going to put that red near the brown. He's lucky that one of the reds has ended up there. And then that then puts him onto a colour, which is a little bit unfortunate. We're looking at the table thinking, where's it going to come from now? And he's missed the yellow. I mean, just shows, doesn't it, that he's really not on the ball today. I mean, this is the problem now. We're just stuck on this red. I mean, that unfortunately, again, we don't get the elevated angle on it. But I think that's about right. I mean, can you judge, really? It's very tricky to judge. But sometimes it just works out. And sometimes like that, it doesn't.
He was forced to use the rest
he's got quite an easy potting angle. I thought it might be a bit tighter, but he's got an easy potting angle on the one that we've just touched. Not the one we just had, but the one that red touched. And that's the one he's going for now, and he's missed it. Unless it does the double. Luckily, it hasn't. And we've now got a wide choice And I think we open the middle pocket up. And just make sure we get this so we can get onto the blue. An extra 5 points. Gives us 6 with that red that's on the pocket over there. Over the other side even. So it makes sense. And again, from this shot, it's easy for position on that red that we can get another point from. Because it's all about points. As we said, it's this last frame. There's no point doing any stupid, heroics to build breaks. I just hope that this doesn't go so far that it knocks the red into that into the pocket. No, it didn't. That's good. But we are doing well. Possibly there's an angle there on the pink if we can get it back up the table. We've got to pot this first. But if this isn't going, I'll be shocked. There we go. That's in. Nice. We've pretty much whacked any colour possible. And that brings us beautifully either onto the blue or the black. And I think the blue is probably the better shot here. The one that makes more sense to me. I mean, why is it recommending the brown? That's just daft. Not too hard, but hard enough. Again, another 5 points. 14 points ahead. And it sets up quite well.
Sunk the blue.
Where do we go next? Where do we go next? That red looks half decent. And I think we can pot that. I mean, pot this red, pot the black that's on the pocket that's 7 points that is just gaping. Which we're not in the best position for, but at least we haven't snookered ourselves. We can get that actually quite easily. We could well get the blue, I suppose. But the black does give us better position, I'd say, for any of these reds. Again, a free dose of 7 points. And we're positioned half decently on that red that's quite far away from the pink. That's quite close to the black. This one here. I mean, get it. In fact, we may as well hit this one a little bit harder, just so we can get the position on the blue. Because the black into that pocket, the angle you need is always a bit of a risk. I mean, that's not position on the blue at all, but we can get the yellow. In fact, it's not about big breaks. It's keeping on the table. It's making sure the opponent can't get back on the table. And sometimes that's more important than potting the big colours. In my opinion, anyway. Oh, that's gone in off. Oh, dear. I didn't think that was going to go in. I really didn't. I thought that it was going to move away there from the pocket. But sometimes making sure that the cue ball doesn't go in is probably more important than potting colours or any ball. But he's made a mistake. We get away with it this sort of place. He's just not good enough. We might as well screw this back. Again, get a good position on this black. And that's a bit of a shame, but because of his stupid mistake... Oh, my God.
Yeah, didn't want to go in that one.
Another stupid error from ourselves. We can't be making these errors in the big matches. We really can't. We're lucky that Zanussi has had a shocking game today. But... he's just awful. Genuinely, he is. He's awful. I've never played against a player that's made this many mistakes and just practically let us win the match. It's amazing.
Forced that one in. That.
One.
I mean, we're not playing well ourselves. I completely admit that. But he's having a shocking game. He really is. I mean, I dread to think how many pots he's had, and that's probably another foul. We probably haven't considered that. It's going into the corner pocket, I think this cue ball is. No, it's not. We're all right. We haven't got the best position on the rest of the reds, but a bit of magic, we could pot this. Oh, no. Oh, I wanted to move that a bit, really. Oh, there we go. We got the look. Maybe our instinct is the best thing to go for sometimes. Decent position on the black. Another 7 points, and to be honest, the frame's over. We can get that, I think. But it is a tight angle on the black. But we can use this red here as quite a nice marker, actually, I think. Let's have a look. If we get this, the frame's over, I think. And there we go, it's in. Lovely. Good stuff. Now, there's no obvious position on these reds here. The one I fancy, personally, is the up the table on this. Maybe not so hard. I want to get decent position on the blue, but that's going to be tricky unless we kind of screw it back a little bit. But we didn't really consider there the fact that it might actually not make it to the pocket. It is going to make it to the pocket, and it's not bad position on the blue, particularly into the bottom pocket. One of the lower colours might be better. In fact, no, the pink goes. It makes sense to hit the red. Hopefully, put it in a bit of a better position. I mean, that red that we got in earlier proves he should go with our instinct, but just tweaking it a little bit can make sure that it doesn't hit the jaws and it goes in. I mean, that's decent position on this red here, to be honest, by the pink. Yeah, it is actually. And it gives us decent position on either the pink or the black. So, it's a good break that we've got going here. It'd be nice to get a break of over 30 now, and that's just a bit fortunate because that should have never gone in. Well played onto the pink. How are we going to get that? I mean, it's going to take quite a good shot and quite a lucky shot, to be honest, I think, here. Again, we benefit from the aerial view. Can we... Oh, we can't, I suppose, can we? So, hold on. Let's think about this. So, we can almost walk around the table, Kit. Can we walk around the table? Let's hit all the buttons, see what we can do. No, we can't. I thought we could walk around the table, you see. Obviously not. We're just going to have to go with it, aren't we? We're just going to have to go with the fact that, you know, we miss this. We probably will. And it's a shame. But it would be nice to get a 30 break to end them. I mean, that was just shocking. What were we doing there? Just a complete lack of judgment, that was. Silly. Stupid. But what I will say is that we've had our worst game yet, I feel. Particularly that's been on air. Our first 3 frames might have been shoddy as well. But all I will say is that we've got away with it here. I can't see any way for Zanussi to get back into the frame. Again, I think he's still on that silly biggest break of 9. And he'll eclipse that here if he gets a bit of a run going. But once again, he's missed it. And that's quite astonishing. But as Dennis says, the red will let us take the frame and the match. And we're through to the second round, ladies and gents, of the LG Cup. Unless the cue ball goes in, which luckily it hasn't. We're through to the next round of the LG Cup. And now we can just have a bit of a play on the table. 35 available. 34 available. We're 35 ahead. That should be a nice and easy 5-pointer. Which for some reason we've missed. Is that going to be the double? No, unfortunate. So he might well concede. Is he though? No, he's not. He's going to play on, I think. He's going to play on. I mean, fair play to him. Fair play. He's missed that though. Doesn't give us the best of shots, the best of angles.
Well in front now.
As Dennis says, we're way in front. We don't really need to worry now. We're not going to give away 2 or 3 fouls, which means that he gets back into it. And to be quite honest, I think we deserve it. You Burke. Oh dear, what an idiot. I mean, as John says, we won't be worried about that foul, but it's been a complete lapse in concentration all day today, I think, honestly. 31 ahead, 27 available. We have got to be careful that we've one more foul. We're in risk of Roy actually getting back into the frame, which would be completely ridiculous here. But the yellow should give us the frame. Probably won't go in, but it will, and that gives us the frame surely now.
2.
Surely. I mean, we've already fought this once, but it should have given us the frame there. Right, come on. Oh, we've missed the green. Is he going to concede now?
If he gets the cue ball close to the object ball. No,
he's going for the snooker off. Well, not the snooker, but just making sure we don't pot it. Which seems awfully daft. I'm just going to belt it now. Nothing to lose. Really not. Apart from a foul, which we aren't going to concede. I mean, he should pot this. It's a tricky one. He's not going to go for the pot. He's just going to hit it. Well, what was he doing there? I don't know. He's hoping for the snooker. Good old Matthew Stead from Manchester, the referee. He's going to hope for the snooker, but he's not going to get it. And even if he does, we're 8 ahead. So he'd need 2 fouls to get it, and that's a bit unfortunate. He hasn't gone in there, but we're just playing silly buggers now, really.
Well, that was a difficult shot he took on then. Sure, he knows what he's doing.
There's no point of
this time, though.
Roy bothering now. There really isn't. I mean, he can play on, which I understand his determination and his resilience. I value that, but there really isn't any point.
There's a tense atmosphere in the room today. That must have an effect on the players.
Yeah, it's the tense atmosphere in my bedroom that has really had the effect, I agree. Well, this will be a pot. Thanks, Roy, for opening this up for us. There we go. Good stuff.
3.
Quite literally right on the brown though now. I mean, there's no potting angle on that, is there? Blimey. Just tap this. I really couldn't care less if he gets another shot. I just don't understand why he's keeping going. I don't get it. He's lost it, you know, he's not going to get any more pots, I don't think. He's trying for a snooker, I think, but he's not going to get it. He really isn't. I mean, there's a potting angle there. Very lucky it didn't go into the pocket. But he has had enough now. He's conceded the match. And we've won that one in straight frames. And that is, even though it was our worst performance, is our best result. Very, very odd, I have to say. Yeah, apparently, according to John, we could be taking the title home, which, you know, it's an interesting one. It's worth thinking about. Because we haven't lost a game so far, but I feel like in one of these games we are going to get a big reality check. We are going to lose at some point, definitely. But we'll skip the highlights. We'll get on with it. Again, our highest break was 24. His highest break was 9. Oh dear. Dearie me. So, not a very good matchup, to be honest. We beat him quite comprehensively, even though we didn't play well. It just shows how badly he played today. But I do apologise for not being able to bring you the first 3 frames. Fingers crossed this video comes out. I don't say it make the same silly mistake. But in the next match we have got Rafael Garcia. And I think this is... Let's work it out. For some reason I mean, what's going on here? So there's... I mean, for some reason... No, that's right. They are all playing. But why is there the same amount of games in this that there is in the... in this round? I mean, Selwyn, whatever his name is not in here, so unless there's a few games that haven't been announced. So how many games is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think there's 32 in the tournament. I might be wrong. I think there's 32 in the tournament, so we'll have to find out. I think this is the second round out of 6 or 7 possibly, but I feel like we are probably in for a reality check in this game or the next one. But Rafael Garcia is our next opponent at the LG Cup in Preston. I hope you guys have enjoyed this one. I've been TIJ Game, and I apologise once again for the stupidity on my part. We'll be back on Saturday. We have got a new schedule on the channel, which will be coming out soon, with some new content. So look on the channel if you're interested in golf, Formula 1, and of course snooker, and cricket and retro games on a Sunday as well. That's all coming to the channel in the next few weeks. But apart from that, folks, I've been TIJ Gaming. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. But until the next time,